My name is Cryan. I'm an extra virgin olive oil taster and sommelier, and I'm delighted to be here with you for Savour Kilkenny online food festival this year. I'm going to just talk to you about olive oil and hopefully give you some new sort of facts, information and tips that you may not have known before. So, extra virgin olive oil taster, we're the people who taste olive oil in order to grade it. So there's many different grades with olive oil. Extra virgin is the top grade. So first of all, what is olive oil? Well, it is the freshly pressed juice of the olive fruit without any heat treatments or any sort of processing. So it's a really natural, fresh, product. So as I said, extra virgin is then the highest grade of that. So how do we discern, which grade it is? Well, there's a chemical process and there's a sensory analysis. So with ourselves, we do the sensory analysis. There's a few things we're looking for. We're looking for, when we smell it, we need to smell and then we taste it. We're looking for an olive fruitiness. We're looking for bitterness, for pepperiness, and for extra virgin, we're looking to see that there's no defects in it. Now, there's many different types of defects, but I'll just explain two of them to you that we would come across maybe here in Ireland. One is called fusty and the other is called rancid. So fusty is a smell of olives and brine, which is fine for your olives and brine when you open your jar, but it's not a good thing for an olive oil. It's a defect if you get that smell. And in fact, when I was teaching an olive oil tasting class to the Calbrew Street students, and I gave them a sample of the fusty oil, they said that they thought that was just the smell of olive oil. So hopefully we're progressing on from there, because that is a defect. The other one is rancidity. So these are probably the three most important things to remember about olive oil. Heat, light and air destroy it. So if you have your olive oil in a clear bottle, which many oil companies do have, and I know it looks lovely and we're looking at the colour and all that, but it degrades, light degrades the olive oil. So it is better to have your olive oil in dark bottles or in tins, and added into that, even though we love the colours, the golden and the green and all that, it actually tells you nothing about the quality of the olive oil. It's actually related to the olive variety. So, it doesn't even give us an indication of that. Heat then, don't leave your olive oil beside the cooker and don't have it on the windowsill, because as it heats, it degrades and it goes rancid. And then air, once you open your olive oil, try and use it within a reasonable amount of time, 3 to 6 months or so, because once the air gets in again, it'll start to slowly degrade it. Now, you can keep it fairly stable if you store it in a cupboard, dark cupboard, at about 16, 17 degrees, and keep the lid tightly on it. The pores, they're not great because they're letting the air in, so you can use it for pouring and then put the lid back on, and that's how you keep it somewhat stable. Grant. Then next thing, how to choose it. So you're in the supermarket or in the deli and you're looking at all these olive oils and you're wondering, which is the best one to pick. So a few tips on that. Well, again, I would just go for the dark bottle or the tin over the glass bottle. You know why now. Then I would look at the best before date. The best before date is generally about 18 months after it's been bottled. Now, olive oil is best fresh and young. So you're looking for the best before date that tells you it's the youngest and the freshest olive oil. So you might have to root through them, and because sometimes they're put at the back, so they sell the old ones first. So check that out. What else can you do? Cold pressed doesn't mean anything. It used to be cold pressing. The first cold pressing, literally with hydraulic press, was the best quality, and then the second pressing, which they added heat, was of a lower quality. but now everything is cold extracted. It goes into the mill, goes into the centrifugal system which spins it around. It's not allowed to be treated any any of the heat to go above 25, 27 degrees. So that is cold extracted. The centrifugal system separates the oil from the water and the pulp, and they're all done like that. So cold press doesn't really mean anything anymore. If you see a winner of an international competition, it's a good sign, because they're expensive to submit, to put your olive oil into these competitions. It's expensive. So if they bother to do that, that means they're fairly confident their oil is good. So let's say the award is only good for the year they won it in, because each harvest is different. But if you see that they have a history of olive oil wins, then you know that they're generally going to be of good standard. You can also look for single estate, which means it's all done and produced and everything on the same estate or olive grove. Blend of EU oils, like blend of EU anything, is not great, so I'd avoid them. They're not going to be of a very high standard. Another thing is, I suppose, price is another indication. For a good high quality extra virgin, you're talking about 17, 18, 19, 20 and upwards per 500 millilitres. I know that sounds really expensive probably for most people, but it's an expensive process to get your olive, a really good extra virgin. I don't know how they do it for the lower prices, to be honest. Well, when you're talking about the really low. If that sounds too much for you, it's too big a leap. Try some of the supermarket better oils, maybe the Tesco Finest or the Done Simply Better. You could start with them. They're more like €10 per 500 millilitres. But I always think of when Dorina Allen said, if you don't put your money into your food, you put it into the doctor. And there's so many health benefits from extra virgin olive oil. Obviously you get those benefits from the top quality stuff, not from the low quality stuff. So it protects your heart, it protects against cancer, it protects against diabetes, it lowers your bad cholesterol, brings up your good cholesterol, it protects the brain, it protects against Alzheimer's, and it's anti-inflammatory. So you see, all those things are very relevant to modern day. So you can think of it as an investment in your health, as well as all the other benefits that it's going to give you. What else can I tell you? Well, let me talk a little bit more about the joy of olive oil. They're kind of very practical things that I've told you. But olive oil, I know here in Ireland we are more, we dip it and we put it on our salads. But it's so versatile, it's much bigger than that. When you taste it and when you smell the good quality extra virgins, you're getting the same type of aromas which you would describe wine. So we have tropical fruits, you could have tomato, citrus, herbs, salady aromas, banana, pear. There's so many different types of aromas and flavours that you get with olive oil. And then there are three types. Then there's delicate, there's robust and medium robust. And your delicate is, very mild flavours, mild pepperiness, mild bitterness. And you can use that in baking or use it with things like fish, because, you don't overwhelm the food. The robust is high pepper, high bitter, strong flavours, and you match that with strong foods like put on your steaks or beans, just anything with a strong flavour, you can match it with that. And then your medium robust, you can, it's a more all-rounder. So you can use it on your salads, pizzas, bruschettas, pastas, some meats. I put it on boiled potatoes, I put it on steamed vegetables, I use it on my toast instead of butter because, you know, it's better for your cholesterol if you're trying to substitute it. So there's a whole world out there of the flavours and the matching and the pairing with foods. And it's, you know, my own daughter, like here we would use, you know, salt, pepper and extra virgin. And my daughter would say, you know, has said to me, I'm not going to bother with sauces anymore because we have the different extra virgins and we pair them, and the taste and it's just so fresh and healthy and flavoursome. So, you know, use it as a condiment. That's what it's meant to be. You know, when you really taste the good ones, you'll understand why. Right, so I'm going to just show you quickly how to taste. That's actually the official olive oil tasting glass. It's blue because, as we know now, the colour doesn't mean anything and it only distracts the taster. So I'm just bringing it to room temperature here so it'll release the aromas. I'm doing it in a portion cup here, but you can do it in a wine glass as well. And I'm going to just smell it a couple of times to get the aromas. Okay, so the first time I'm smelling it is it's fresh, it's fruity, it's summery, it's grassy. There's nothing to indicate a stale aroma or a defect like the fusty, or a kind of a stale nut or crayon or paint-like smell, which would indicate that it's rancid. Just all fresh. Okay, and then aroma-wise, again, I'm getting tomato, I'm getting some almond, I'm getting some apple. So really nice, very fresh. Okay, to taste. You swirl it around your mouth, and then you draw air on the inside. And breathe out through your nose. Okay, so this is when you test out the bitterness and the pepperiness. Feel the pepperiness. So the bitterness is in your mouth. Now the bitterness is the bitterness of, let's say, the skin of a nut, that kind of bitterness. And the pepperiness then you feel in your throat. Sorry. The Italians actually talk about 1 cough, 2 cough, or 3 cough oil. So, you know, that's how, you know, they can be a mild pepperiness or a very strong, blow your head off kind of pepperiness. So this one I'd say is just a medium robust. I can feel it in my throat, but it's not actually burning my throat to death as some of them do. Okay, so that's it. That's what you're looking for. And just to say finally that the higher the bitterness, the higher the pepperiness, the higher the polyphenols, so the healthier that particular oil is. So, you know, that's just a nice indication of how healthy the oil is. Everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it arouses your interest in olive oil and in the whole world of olive oil, and I hope it sort of provokes you into, you know, experimenting. It's a lovely thing to do. It's a lovely thing to do over dinner, or you know, to get together with people and bring your olive oils. This is when we can, of course, in the future, and just experiment and taste and enjoy it and discover this whole new world. Thanks very much, everyone, for listening, and lovely to be part of the festival. Thank you.